Coming up in tonight's Studio 12, 3D printing is changing the way homes are being built here in Colorado. We speak to Verotouch, a Chaffee County company that's leading the way.
Then the power of color in business and how it can shape the way that you think and feel.
Plus a conversation with a creative twist as journalism and drawing collide at the Doodle Desk.
And one of our Creator Academy interns sits down with Denver comedian Josh Blue.
Don't go anywhere. It all starts right now here on Studio 12.
From the Five Points Media Center in the heart of Denver, Colorado, this is Studio 12.
Good evening, I'm Bazi Kanani.
And I'm Ryan Harrer. Welcome to Studio 12. 3D printing is beginning to transform the construction industry, but some Colorado companies are thinking even bigger.
In tonight's Business of Colorado segment, Franny Matthews sits down with Jake Rishabi of Verotouch, a Chaffee County company that uses robotics and automation to print concrete homes, all while developing the technology platform for future advancements in the home building industry. Here's more with Franny.
So Jake Rishabi, you and I have known each other for a while.
Yes, we have.
And I am thrilled to be able to come down and talk about what you're doing in Chaffee County. One of the issues that we have as an economy in Colorado, like a lot of other places, is affordable housing.
Absolutely.
And so what we're talking about a lot here in Chaffee County is innovation around construction.
Yep.
And tell us about what your role is at Verotouch and what Verotouch does.
Well, and to your point, I think it has become apparent to me, I'm sure many other people understand this too, but housing and housing affordability is the defining issue of this time. And over, again, a career of 15 years of working really closely, like seeing under the hood of a lot of startups, it was apparent to me that, like, if I was going to make that leap from economic development to the private sector, it had to be more about just a great revenue driver. It's like, for me, it has to have community impact. And so I, about 9 months ago, joined Verotouch as their Chief Communications Officer and Chief Growth Officer. And that role is essentially helping to support this really amazingly innovative company that came from here and came up through this Ascent program. And Verotouch is essentially a construction technology platform company. And so we build homes. We are a home builder in the traditional sense. We utilize 3D printing and a couple of other technologies to reimagine what the work site of the future is going to look like. Construction as an industry is probably the last great American industry to embrace robotics and automation, and that just can't stand. How we're going about it is we're utilizing robotics and automation in the context of 3D printing to 3D print homes out of concrete. And that in and of itself is pretty revolutionary. But the way that we're going about it is we're not just utilizing existing technology to build homes in a new way, but we're actually aiming to build the platform of hardware, software, materials, and the processes to utilize them to enable the adoption of those technologies broadly within the construction industry.
So part of your business plan is IP.
It is.
Intellectual property on how to do this.
Yep.
Setting the tone.
Intellectual property drives everything that we do. And not to discount the value of the homes that we're building and delivering and selling. We've applied for and received 55 provisional patents in the last quarter. And that is all around that kind of hardware, software, materials, and process. And we think that's necessary because in the timing of the evolution of technology and construction, 5 years ago, the technology was too nascent. So it was billed as this savior, buy a printer, print a button, build a house. It was nowhere near that. But the evolution of that technology over the last 5 years is such that we're getting close. And the innovations represented by those 55 provisional patents it's all about the maturation of those technologies and systems, to the point that we firmly believe that within the next 5 years, traditional construction companies and home builders everywhere are going to finally start adopting this new technology. And we want to be the company that is poised to provide that platform to enable that adoption by providing them both the hardware, software, materials, and processes necessary for them to adopt it.
I went to your construction site, and I saw that you're also integrating not only the 3D printing, but also modular for second floor.
Yep. And that is key. So like where the technology is and concrete as a material, it doesn't necessarily, although it's possible, and we've printed a second story with 3D printed concrete, but it's not as efficient, and it gets much more challenging the higher up you get for a number of reasons. But marrying that with off-site panelized construction, so built in a factory under controlled conditions and then flatbed shipped to the site and bolted together really quickly, the combination of those two technologies we think is going to create that breakthrough on both cost and speed.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about workforce.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit different model. You know, when you think of building a house in a traditional way, you've got subcontractors, there's a serial project plan, and so in this, you've got employees, right?
Yep.
And so there's challenges and there's benefits to that. Can
Sure.
you talk to me about that?
There sure are both. You know, this is, again, we're operating in a town of 7,500, a county of 20,000 people. So we do not have the access to the depth of particularly technical workforce that we would in a major metro area. That being said, we have utilized the amazing qualities of this lifestyle here to fill in the gaps that we can't meet locally. We always attempt to hire local first, but for those super technical roles or super specialized roles that we can't find, we've found this to be a super attractive place to attract that talent from elsewhere. And you know, on a macro scale, a lot of people are revisiting the decision to live in major cities at the moment. So we've really seized on that trend to capture people that are highly trained, highly educated, that want a different lifestyle, and that the small town appeal of a place like Salida kind of checks those boxes for them.
If I were a high school student that had interest in staying in this town and not necessarily going to college right away, or at all, what piece of advice would you give them, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, so I mean, the advice is pretty simple. I mean, tourism jobs are not going to provide the wage that you need to live here and establish yourself, build a family over the long term. That's just not gonna happen at 20 bucks an hour in a place like this. So finding these technical career paths is critical. And we work super closely with the Colorado Mountain College outpost here in Salida, which has a concurrent enrollment with the local high school. So we have employed probably in the range of like 15 high school interns that basically get to come on site with us, earn high school credit and associate's degree credit through CMC while they're learning about this state-of-the-art approach to construction industry work. And that to us, like it's already proven that, you know, we've had multiple people who have foregone going off to college because they feel like they're working in the real work here in their community right now. So to provide opportunities for local youth that want to stay here, want to build their lives and their families here, but want to do meaningful work at the same time, I think that's the key, is like, you know, there are ways to work remote or even work locally and earn a decent living. But what we feel like is our competitive advantage as a firm is you're doing all of that, plus you're having an impact on the most meaningful problem that we're facing as a community, which is that housing affordability crisis.
So what are you looking for? If you had 5 high school graduates that you wanted, that you were going to fill a job, who would get the job? What attributes are you looking for?
It's so interesting. It is not necessarily technical aptitude, which you might think, like we're an engineering-driven and home-oriented company, but it's really about personal skills. And for us, it's like you have to be motivated to make an impact, because that's what's going to drive you day in and day out. We are in an innovation business, and that means we have a lot of bad days too. There are times when the printer breaks, the material doesn't show up on time, something goes wrong. And we found that the people who are most successful with us have that inherent desire to have a positive impact on their community. And beyond that, it's really about ownership. Like, can you see, as an employee, can you see the positive impact that's possible by doing your particular role in this bigger system? Because that's what's going to drive you day in and day out. And we of course hear the kind of prevailing narrative about young people today is like, maybe the work ethic isn't the same as it was a generation or two ago. We just simply haven't found that to be the case. If you find the people who are motivated to make an impact, they will find a way to solve problems that as they come up in a way that I think is on par with any other previous generation.
Thank you for saying that. I think this generational feuding is just non-productive. So thank you for saying
Yes.
it. What are some of the friction points that you're seeing as you progress? Besides printers breaking.
Yes, yeah. It's not so much printers breaking as the primary problem, but it is like, how do you marry these new innovative approaches to building with traditional trades, for example? And the tradespeople here, and again, we've been wildly successful at finding the right tradespeople that see that bigger vision of like, hey, we're attempting to make a meaningful change in the industry as a whole, and here's a local opportunity to do it. I think of electricians because we've got a phenomenal in-house electrician who gets the innovation side of this business. We had to work through a few others who were more of that traditional, like, hey, I've been doing it this way for 30 years. I don't want to learn a new way. So it's a process of like sifting through the right people and partners to get people who are aligned to that bigger vision of industry-wide impact. But it happens. It means that the process is slower than we would like it to be, but it's happening, and I think that we are proof of that.
Awesome. Okay, Jake, I have one more question for you. I'm a genie. I can give you one wish. What would it be that would help your business?
There are elements to home building that are beyond our control. The cost of land has shot up remarkably in this valley over the last 3 or 4 years. The cost of labor, because we are in a limited labor pool, the great people you want to work with here are more expensive than they are in a metro area, for example. The cost of living in the area that requires people to make more here than they would elsewhere. Those are factors that are outside of our control. We can't solve that within our system, but those are the things that, that's what would accelerate our growth even more, because ultimately, we have the ability with this technology to build a 4,000 square foot McMansion. That's not what we're about. We are aiming to develop these technologies and processes and materials to drive down the cost of housing, and we're making good progress at that, but we will only be able to get so far with those external factors that drive up the cost.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I look forward to continuing the conversation.
I can't wait.
Funding for the Business of Colorado on PBS12 is provided in part by Collegiate Peaks Bank, Ibotta, and from the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Affordable housing continues to be a major challenge here in Colorado. Verotouch believes part of the solution is exploring new ways of building and that technologies like 3D printing can help improve speed, efficiency, and cost.
What happens when you mix meaningful conversation with a little bit of doodling?
You get the Doodle Desk, where the stories are real and the drawings are, we can say, also very real.
In this episode, Kyle Dyer sits down with Colorado Inside Out panelist Alvina Vasquez, diving into her passion for telling Colorado's untold stories.
They also talk about parenthood, community, and why local conversations still matter, especially here in Colorado.
And of course, it wouldn't be the Doodle Desk without a twist.
They'll be drawing each other's portraits along the way. So we'll let you decide who is the better artist.
Here's the Doodle Desk.
Alvina Vasquez cares deeply. She cares about Colorado, about how decisions ripple through communities, about how people are treated and seen. She believes in equity, she believes in solutions, and she is always willing to talk through ideas and challenges with honesty and openness. And despite a very demanding job, a full family life as a mom, and serving on numerous boards, Alvina maintains a remarkable grasp of what's happening across our state and what it means for all of us. Alvina, I'm so glad you're here today. You're already hard at work over there.
I am.
This is hard. To kind of draw each other.
Yeah.
But you say you're a doodler.
I'm a doodler, so I can do a house with a smokestack really well.
You
and
don't do
cube.
faces?
No.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cubes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this today. I know it's like out of our normal element of sitting at the CIO desk, but that makes it fun.
No, this is fun.
And we kind of want to know who the people are that are on our CIO panel and why they're here. And I think just your depth in our community and what you bring to the community is really what adds to you being on our show.
Thank you. I really
enjoy
it. You know, I worked in broadcasting for a really long time. For about 15 years, I was in radio and TV, and I really missed the energy that comes with that. So that's why I like it. It's just, broadcasting is just part of me.
That is awesome. Yeah, is that what you wanted to be when you were growing up?
It is.
A reporter?
Yeah. I used to listen to KOA a lot.
Okay.
As a kid.
Yeah.
There's a radio personality called Raleigh James, and I would call into Raleigh James all the time. I was like the only kid calling in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh my gosh.
I would pretend to do radio show, hit play record at the same time.
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to read the newspaper in front of the mirror and try to, pretend I was an anchor.
Yeah, it was definitely always something that I wanted to do, yeah.
Oh, good. All right, well, let's get started on trying to be artistic for each other. What made you transition in your career out of TV and radio?
Yeah, I think broadcasting didn't have the growth opportunity that I wanted to. I think there's a limit to how much you can do. I think you can't do so much so quickly, but there's also a limit to that as well. You can't really take political sides, you can't really advocate, and so I think that was kind of the missing link in broadcasting.
Because that's important to you.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to stand up for others?
I just want people to feel like they belong, like they deserve to be here and have a good life. And so many people strive for that, and there's so many barriers and obstacles, and unless we talk about those things, it's just going to be really hard for folks to advance themselves, their families, and the community as a whole.
So what is your work now? How would you describe how you contribute now?
We try to advance conversations and issues to make communities better and stronger. So that's creating infrastructures for community outreach and organizing, helping people talk about issues in a way that connects and that is culturally resonant so that they get the help and the services they need from our state and city governments.
What kind of issues do you deal with?
We work on healthcare, immunization is a big one. I like to work on issues like immigration and really capturing stories. I've always felt like storytelling is a really great way to bring people along on an issue because, we're kind of in a place where facts are questionable, but you can't really disagree with somebody's life experience. So I think sharing life experiences can really change the way people think about issues.
Yeah, I mean, I've read, and I totally feel it's the case for me. Our brains are not wired to remember stats and, statistics, but we do remember stories and how we felt, and we remember the emotion. So I think that's right on for you to be, trying to make change by sharing people's emotional stories, the real stories.
When I kind of switched over to political advocacy, that was a lot of the work that I did, was helping women of color and underrepresented communities that usually don't testify or even know how the inner workings of the Capitol, how to train them on how to make their voices heard in those spaces. And that brought me a lot of joy too, because we were able to work on wage theft, and these are like issues that really impact people. And a lot of the new city is focused on our federal government, but our city and our county and our state government has so much more impact on our day-to-day. It was really great to get those voices inside the dome and possibly changing people's minds.
And you have a 4-year-old.
I have a 4-year-old.
A little boy, right?
It's a little boy.
Okay. What do you hope for your son? In this crazy time, but such a joyful time as he has a birthday?
Yeah. So
what do you see 5'10"? What do you hope for?
He's going to be tall. So he's adopted.
Oh, yes.
So it's kind of a guess on his height and size.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what made you adopt?
He was newborn. We were there when he was born.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, that's special.
It was amazing.
That's
and
wonderful.
So I hope for him to be accepted as however he presents himself.
Yeah. How does he present himself now? What's he like to do?
Oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. You did it. You cracked it.
Me too. Oh, I'm coming over to give you a hug.
Thank you.
Oh. Sure.
Let's see. No peeking.
Oh, I didn't. That's not why I did
I'm
that.
just kidding.
So what's he like to do now? What's he into?
He loves to dance. He loves to be on
fun.
stage. So he's working with, or he's not working. I have him in Artístico, which is a folklorico Mexican dance company.
Oh, what fun.
Oh my gosh.
Does he love it?
He loves it. So he's been performing for over a year now, and he loves to be on stage and dancing.
Oh my gosh, I bet the crowd loves him.
He loves it, yeah.
Oh, what
and the crowd
fun.
loves him. He's one of like 2 boys in the dance troupe, so in the little toddlers.
Oh my gosh.
So, he gets all the attention. He loves it.
Oh, I bet he does. That's great. So he's charismatic,
He's
huh?
very charismatic, very jokey.
That's good, though.
Yeah, he's a happy little kid.
You want kids who are like excited to be around other people and not afraid, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since I've had him, I've taken him everywhere.
Yeah? Well, you haven't brought him to Color Inside Out?
I haven't.
He'd probably be bored.
He wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
I did take him to Channel 9 once when Kyle had me on for political stuff.
But did he get that? Did he understand where? It's only 4,
I mean,
right?
he was sitting there. Yeah. He was watching.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what was happening.
Yeah. He may remember. You never know.
Yeah.
Around now is when he'll start getting his memories, but I bet his performances and his costumes.
He'll remember all that. 'Cause it's such a big experience.
Will he be, do you think you're only?
Yeah. Yeah.
The apple of your eye?
Yeah. Yeah, we thought about, it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah.
When you go through the adoption process.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's inviting a lot of people into your family and into your circle.
Yeah?
And so,
was that hard for you?
No, his birth mom's amazing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we stay in touch.
Just lastly, what do you think your purpose is? You're doing so much for your son, but for so many other people who don't have a voice.
Yeah, it's my purpose. I mean, I hope I make a positive impact for somebody, Maybe just watching me on the show have an opinion about something.
Well, you have on me.
Yeah.
That's for sure. You always come prepared and you speak from your heart, and that is what I want.
That's great.
That's what I want with people, right?
Yeah, that's what I want. I want people to see me and say, if she can do it, I can do it.
You do it.
Yeah.
All right, so you ready to
All right.
display?
Did you draw tears on my...
No, I didn't.
You should have. Okay, ready?
Okay, 1, 2. Ta-da! Oh, look at me. I look very sophisticated with my cat eye glasses, don't I? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
I love
I'm
that.
not a good artist.
You did such a big one compared to, I took up a tiny little piece of
I made a big head and then I can just make lots of hair. So I was lucky with you. So here we are, Albina Vasquez with the cat eyes that are crooked.
It's okay.
I think
Your
I went through
eyeball sizes are a little off.
I think I went through a cat eye phase and I didn't have a steady
I
hand for
love
that.
cat eyes.
I can't do it.
I
well,
love
though.
doing makeup.
Oh,
And that's
you
the one
do?
thing I miss.
You
Having a
should help me,
toddler, I
'cause
don't get to do makeup like I
I'm
used
not a good
to.
make. I just put it on.
Oh, I love
I
it.
need help. Okay, all right. You're going to help me?
I will.
Thank you.
No, this is so much fun.
It's
Thank
great
you,
having you
Kyle.
on the show and
Yeah.
being your friend. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That was just a sneak peek of one of our conversations with our panelists. For our full conversation with all of our insiders, check out the Doodle Desk on the Passport app, PBS12's YouTube channel, or on our website, pbs12.org, or wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to seeing you the next time at the Doodle Desk.
We're switching now to another look at the business of Colorado with Franny Matthews. This story centers around the business and psychology of color. Why does color really matter?
Franny finds out with the help from the Pantone Color Institute.
Pantone's Color of the Year often sparks strong reactions. This year is no exception. But instead of focusing on the color itself, I wanted to understand the global thinking behind it. I wanted to find out how insights from around the world turn into decisions that shape brands, products, and design everywhere. So I went straight to the source. I am so excited about today's conversation. I am here with Lori Pressman, Vice President from Pantone Institute. Lori, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to tell you that I normally drink out of a mug that has PBS12 on it. But for you, I have a mug that has the state of New Jersey, where you're calling in from.
Yes,
and I
that's
believe...
great.
And I do believe that this is the color of the year.
Yes, I would
very
say.
close
Yes.
to Cloud
Yes.
Dancer.
Yes.
So I so appreciate you taking the time. I am a quilter, and so color is everything to me. And when I saw the choice from the Pantone Institute of the color of the year, I was taken back, and I did a little bit of research, and I'm just happy that you're able to join us. So tell me a little bit about Pantone in general and how the Pantone Institute fits into the organization.
The goal of the Institute has always been to educate the consumer about color, the importance of color, why color matters. It's almost what we would call the intelligence arm of Pantone. So if we think about Pantone as this foundational color language, right, that everybody can communicate color around the world using this 6-digit number or a 3-digit number, and everybody is clear. Well, that's quite different than why color matters. How does color influence us? What does color say? Because every color has its own unique message and meaning. And Pantone Color Institute is really this repository of color information that includes all of our proprietary research on the psychology of color, societal trends, the manner in which individuals react to color. And it's through Pantone Color Institute, which began in the mid-'80s, that we started to get involved with New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, to call out the top colors. We introduced our Pantone Color of the Year, and doing all of the trend work that we do. So today, while we may have started with all of this consumer color preference study research, it's really morphed into this whole area of, I would say, consulting. It's a global team. We partner with all these global brands to advise them on colors for their products, colors for their brand visual identity.
Why did the Pantone Institute start Color of the Year?
So if we think about the Pantone Color Institute, our focus and mission has always been about education. Really, that's the driving force, right? The relationship between color and culture. And we originally created the Pantone Color of the Year back in 1999. We thought this would just be for the color of the millennium. I don't know that we ever predicted it would continue these many years ahead. I think we're all just astounded. And the goal was to engage the design community and color enthusiasts around the world into a conversation about color. We wanted to draw this relationship between culture and color to highlight to our audience how what is taking place in our global culture at a moment in time really gets expressed and reflected through the language of color. And it's really fascinating when you think about that, because there really are reasons why colors become popular when they do, and it does reflect what's happening.
You have a panel of people that make a decision every year on what the color will be. This is pretty strategic, and it's a big panel. It's across geographies. So can you tell me a little bit about not necessarily who's on the panel, but how do you look at the makeup of the panel?
This is a global panel that's out there looking at all the influences across design and tracking everything. And I think through the years, we've seen a shift. Whereas, if we go back to 1999, social media wouldn't have been involved, technology wouldn't have been involved. So there's so many factors that weigh into lifestyles, play styles, art, music, fashion that play into our thinking for this. And the emotional aspect of color, of course, plays a very big role, because we really want to make sure that the color that we select reflects what's happening.
And you actually do not publish the actual individuals that are on this.
We absolutely do not publish this. This is not a commercial decision. I can tell you that. In order for us to maintain the authenticity and the credibility of what the Institute shares out in all of our color intelligence, it has to stay authentic. And there have been years, I've been at Pantone, I'm going on 26 years. So I've been with this process and part of the Pantone Color Institute team and Color of the Year for a long time. And there have been years that some of our partners may have said, well, that color may not work well. Well, that's okay. We can't change that. This is what we see happening, and this is what we're seeing show up. There's a reason why colors show up at the time that they do. Some of our perceptions of color are constant, some evolve over time. If you go back 20 years, for example, the yellow greens, it might have been, we're not loving this. But look at where we are today with that color family. So there's reasons why colors become popular when we do. We're just reading, we're not predicting. We're reflecting and highlighting what we're seeing show up across design.
I find it really interesting as a quilter who loves color, loves that just chaos of color. But I stepped back and finished a quilt using as close as I could come to matching this. And what I found was it expanded my own palette and creativity. And so can you talk a little bit about using something that is a white in the and how you're kind of viewing that?
One of the great things about this shade, yes, it's part of the white family, but it's not an optically brightened white. This is a natural white color, and because it has that even undertone, it pairs equally well with cool colors as well as with warm colors. So it's a true versatile neutral shade. One of the things that you also find with colors in the white family is that they go with everything. This is a color that provides what we would call scaffolding for the entirety of the color palette. Because of that, it really lends itself to visual self-expression. We're living at a time where people are looking to put their own unique stamp on something. They want to stand out. It's their brand. This is my, how I see myself, or how I see the space that I'm creating, or any product I'm creating for that matter. And it's also a color that at a time when people are being very careful and considered about their purchases. So we're looking for things that go trans-seasonally. We're looking for things that have the versatility.
I'd like to hit really briefly on the emotions of color and the psychology of color, because it really is something that you can walk in a room and get a different feel based on the colors that are in the room.
Color sets the mood. Color is the most critical element, especially when you're thinking about a mood. And one of the things I feel like I started to think about when I came to work for Pantone was, when it comes to home interiors, is how do I want to feel when I walk into my home, right? How do you want to feel? And that has to dictate, from my point of view, what colors you bring into the space, because home is your refuge, right? You want to feel, I can take a breath, I can relax, I can unwind, and whatever colors or mood does that for you. So color is really what sets the mood and the style. Every color conveys its own unique message and meaning. I think that's something to really understand. And with 80% of human experiences filtered through the eyes, color is vital to creating this mood. So I think that's a very important thing to consider. And I think the interesting piece about the psychology of color, most of it, I would say about 95% of this almost happens outside of our unconscious awareness, how we react to certain colors. Some of that is because it could be evolutionary, if we think about that, and there are environmental and cultural factors that add to that. So if we think about reds, for example, red is blood, so therefore it becomes the color of life. Red can also be about fire, so it can also be thought about as a color of danger. It's the color of our heart, it's passion. You know, there are things that culturally get reinforced that we have these automatic reactions to. The delicious fruit and berries. Some people even say that their mouth waters when they see a red, which I find really fascinating. We think about the blues, color of constancy. Now, why is that? We all look out and we see the sky. So it becomes a color of dependability, true blue, loyalty, trust. So there's certain things that become unconscious reactions. Green in nature. I think the root of green comes from growing. So it's about growth. Yellow in the sun. So those kinds of things, you can understand why there's a lot of commonality. And yet at the same time, there's regional perceptions, white being mourning, or the reds in Asia with prosperity and luck. I think the one I find most interesting too is a memory or an experience, right? You go on holiday and there's a certain color you associate with a certain place and you bring that back with you. Or you had a favorite teacher or your mother or whomever in your life that wears this color and it brings back such a good feeling.
Lori, wonderful conversation, and I really like how you mapped it back to nature on some of the meaning, and that it's just in our natural environment, how some of this psychologically affects us. Is there anything that you also would love our viewers to understand or know about what you're doing at Pantone?
One of the things, again, that I did learn at Pantone in my years here is that color not only influences how other people see us, right? Because people have an automatic reaction to color, it also influences how you feel. So on those days where you're thinking it's cloudy and it's not so nice and you just want to burrow into that gray shade because you just want to sit here, bring out a red, bring out an orange, bring out a yellow, bring out something that energizes you, and it can end up putting you, for yourself, in a different mood, but also how people will look at you and how they will greet you, which of course we know reinforces the energy that you are putting out. I just go back to experiment and have fun and explore. It doesn't have to be a serious thing. Don't be afraid. Start a little bit at a time.
Thank you so much for your time today. I think this was very interesting and educational on regarding the color of the year. And I do hope you visit Colorado sometime soon.
No, thank you so much for this. I love it. Thank you.
12 weeks from tonight, we'll be learning the outcomes from Colorado's primary elections and who will be moving on to the November election.
In the meantime, election integrity continues to be a big issue amid ongoing claims of fraud. Let's check in now with Kyle Dyer and the Colorado Inside Out team for more.
Hi, Bazzi and Ryan. Good to see you. April sure has started off with a jolt, with more election integrity issues being talked about here in Colorado and nationally. And there's a new legal development that has our insiders talking, so let's listen in. Election authority, fraud claims, and a new legal twist for Colorado's most prominent election denier are back in the spotlight. President Trump has issued an executive order aimed at ending mail-in voting as we know it here in Colorado, calling for a federal absentee voter list and limiting ballot mail delivery to anyone who's not on that list. And then there's the ruling that we have been waiting for in the case of Tina Peters. The former Mesa County clerk will be keeping her conviction, but an appeals court has ordered her 9-year sentence to be reworked as she remains right now in state prison in Pueblo. Patty, I will start this week with you.
We have to remember that President Trump has not been using the best legal advice. Witness Pam Bondi just being booted out as his chief legal advisor. So we have his executive order about Birthright citizenship, we saw that in the Supreme Court, not the best arguments. And now we see his executive order against mail-in voting, against, threatening so many things about our election system that has worked extremely well, particularly here in Colorado. The last thing we need is more ammo for election deniers like Tina Peters, who we just heard. She is going to get resentenced. That the appeals court decided her sentencing wasn't really fair, not because of the convictions, but because of some issues of First Amendment, free speech, after she was convicted, because she hasn't shown enough remorse. She's still pushing the election denier issue, and we need to have faith in our election system. Colorado's is audited. I mean, Colorado does a great job with its system.
With regard to Tina Peters, I'm not surprised by the Court of Appeals ruling. There were some hints that that's the direction they were going. And if there's going to be a reduction of sentence, I quite frankly think it's much better happens this way, through sending it back to the trial judge, than by getting Governor Polis involved. In fact, I got to believe Governor Polis is breathing some degree of sigh of relief right now of being somewhat off the hook here. With regard to Trump's executive order, Trump wants to bring everything under his domain, including in states like Colorado, as Patty pointed out, where 98% of people, 99% of Republicans vote by mail. It's a proven system. It works well. Voters love it. It's reliable and all the rest. And then just to top it off, we had a court ruling yesterday on Proposition 108 in terms of the Republican Party's constant desire to basically kick unaffiliated voters out of their primary election. It makes it easier for the Republican Party to limit their primaries to Republicans only. The only beneficiaries of that will be Democrats, because unaffiliateds are 51% of the state right now. And if you want to flip them the middle finger, let me know how that's going to work out.
Okay. All right, Chris.
Yeah, well, really, the controversy comes down to the Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration creating a national registry of voters. Supporters of Trump say that really it's the federal government's role to protect, federal elections and also enforce citizenship laws. So once again, and we've talked about this many times on this show, the intersection between state law, state control, and federal law and federal control. And clearly, Eric has a great point. Trump wants to federalize everything. As far as Tina Peters goes, I also agree with Eric. This creates a perfect out for Governor Polis. He can just say, oh, well, it's been decided. I think if we saw in this case total clemency for Tina Peters, it would really suggest that political pressure was interfering with judicial process. And I think Governor Polis is probably very happy not to be involved anymore.
Yeah. And Adam.
Both really touch on election fraud and voter fraud as a broader issue. I think when it comes to voter fraud, it's a heavily debunked thing we've talked about for a long time in this country. It's unsurprising that the president is stepping in this space. I think Republicans are worried about the midterm elections and trying to potentially limit some voter access by doing this. And it follows the playbook of initiate and then litigate, which is what Trump does. He passes an executive order that is fairly clearly outside the bounds of traditional legal scope, and then it drags through the court system. So unsurprising, obviously, if this were to be upheld, huge impact on Colorado. Our entire system is based largely now on voter access and voter turnout through mail ballots. So it's certainly something to all watch, though I think it's very early to say that this is going to have an impact as we look at future elections.
Okay. Every show, we have 4 topics. That was just one of them. And you can watch our full conversation on Colorado Inside Out by checking out our YouTube channel, the PBS Passport app, or the PBS12 website. And if you're into podcasts, well, we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now, this week and next, I will be off. My friend Alton Dillard will be leading the discussion with the insiders here on PBS12, starting this Friday at 8.
You never know what you'll find on a Colorado road trip.
Yeah, like alligators in the middle of the San Luis Valley.
PBS 12's Erica McClarity was driving through the area on a recent family trip when they saw a sign that said, "Next exit, alligators."
What she thought might be a silly roadside hoax turned into a story she knew she had to capture.
If you had also never heard of this place where hundreds of alligators and other reptiles live, we'll give you an introduction now as Erica takes us along on her surprising journey.
You never know where the road can take you. We were driving on a family road trip through the San Luis Valley when
a very unexpected find on our trip. We stopped in Alamosa to find alligators?
what looks like a roadside curiosity in Alamosa turns out to be something much bigger.
I mean, lots of people are very surprised to find that there are alligators out here. Lots of people are very curious as to why there are alligators out here. And honestly, there's lots of people who think that it's some sort of joke.
It's definitely not a joke. It's a rescue.
Alligators were brought here to Colorado by the Young family. They were operating a tilapia farm in 1977. And they brought alligators here to eat the waste, right? They were cutting the meat off the fish, and that left the carcass of the fish. And so they brought alligators to dispose of that. You know, time went on, people realized, oh, you know, you have alligators here. That's really cool. They wanted to come see it. And then slowly from there, it turned into, you know, the police calling saying, well, we had to confiscate an alligator, or the zoo saying, hey, we've got alligators we can't handle anymore. Private owners saying, hey, I've got alligators that I don't want to handle anymore. They're too big, they're too mean, whatever the case might be.
Over time, unwanted and confiscated animals began showing up, transforming this place into a sanctuary for reptiles.
People tend to show up and get really excited to see the animals, especially having those hands-on educational moments where they can learn a little bit about these animals. Some of these animals are very mistaken, very misunderstood.
This is an American alligator right here. He's a year and a half old. You can pet him, you can touch him anywhere except for the face. This is one of the reasons people buy alligators. They are kind of cute when they're small. They're, 8 inches long, 1.5 ounces out of the eggs. They grow up to 8 or 10 feet long for a girl, 10 up to 15 feet for the boys. And so people get rid of them.
And that education is part of the mission. Changing how people see animals that are often feared. But it's not just alligators. There's a whole world of animals here.
This is a African species of snake, sub-Saharan Africa from Atlantic Ocean over to the Nile River. South is the Saharan Desert. They don't get very big, maybe 3 foot long for a boy, twice that size, up to 6 foot long for a girl.
Whoa!
And that's what they're normally found like in Africa, brown, black, and tan on them, good camouflage.
Can I get a snake?
Whatever.
No.
Yeah, very friendly, very fun.
And hands down, my favorite, these turtles. You can actually feed them. And let's just say, my kids were all in.
Look at him eat it! It's so cute! Can you pet them?
You're hungry.
Favorite part of my job is actually the alligators themselves. I get in with these guys all the time. I do feedings with them. I work on training some of them, and honestly, I just get in there for fun and
You get inside with them.
Yes, I do, all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
And you've been bit before.
Many times. You can see scarring right along there.
But it was worth it.
Right across here. Absolutely worth it. No, I am not afraid of the alligators at all. The crocodiles I'm not afraid of. It is the caiman that terrify me.
Why the caiman?
So alligators are the most placid out of the 3 of them. They're very easy to predict as to what they're going to do next. I've been around them enough. I have enough experience with them that it's very easy for me to look at them and go, okay, I can kind of see what's going on. I can read that body language. And so it's a little bit easier to kind of predict, okay, I can see you're thinking about things. And there's a little bit more purpose in their movement. Where caiman, I find they just explode.
These animals were never meant to be pets.
So it is potentially incredibly dangerous for these animals to be released back into the wild. They can't go anywhere else. So people showing up, people seeing the animals, people paying that admission price, that's what keeps them alive, that's what keeps them fed, that's what keeps the lights on here so that we can continue to operate as a rescue.
Every ticket, every visit helps keep the rescue running. Because once these animals are domesticated,
once they are pets, once they've been fed by people, they can't go back into the wild. They pose a very real threat to human lives at that point in time.
This is their home now. And now I'm wondering, who's the favorite?
Elvis is a particular favorite of mine. He's our biggest alligator, about 13 feet long, about 800 pounds. He actually made me a little famous my first year on the job. We had a little mishap where we were trying to feed him a turkey and I slipped and he was that close to taking my leg off. That video went viral. My overall favorite, unfortunately, did pass away earlier this year, or last year back in May.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just got really old and life happens, passed away on us. That was a heartbreaking moment. Boris, the alligator. But life goes on.
Because beyond the shock factor, beyond the roadside surprise, this is a place built on care. From an unexpected stop to a deeper understanding of rescue, responsibility, and respect for wildlife. This place in Alamosa proves there's always more to the story. For PBS 12, I'm Erica McClarity.
I have never really thought of myself as a reptile person, but I have to admit those little tiny gators, pretty cute.
Yeah, cute until 12 months later, you have an 800-pound alligator climbing around your backyard.
That's a problem.
So there's that. Erica said it's something you definitely don't want to miss taking your kids to. If you can, it's full of hands-on education. And of course, the marvel of being so up and close with these huge gators with just a fence between you is pretty incredible.
And a little bit scary. Yeah. You can find more information about visiting the sanctuary at coloradogators.com.
For a lot of comedians, there's that one place, the stage, where it all begins.
For Denver's own Josh Blue, that place became more than a stepping stone. It became home.
In this piece, you'll hear how one moment of belief helped launch a career that now spans the globe.
And this story comes to us from one of our own interns, Seamus Birmingham, from our PBS12 Creator Academy. Take a look.
Up there you see in the windows, there's all the bills of the upcoming comics. I remember standing in the window looking at them all and I said, one day my face is gonna be in this window. And I said, we believe you. And they said it in a way that was not mean, okay buddy, whatever you say. They really it was a weird moment that just stuck in my head, and then within 3 months my face was in that window. 25 years later, and I'm still coming here every chance I get, and I travel all over the world. I do 200 shows a year, but I get to come back to this place, and it makes me so happy. Any night I come here, no matter who's on, they're probably gonna ask me to jump on stage and do 5 minutes. Because these are where my friends work, and this is my family, and we do Christmas parties and birthday parties together, and and some of the staff here, there's a woman that's been here my whole career. I've known her 25 years. So many people are stuck in their own heads and their ruts and their whatever. I think the key is just to do it. Obviously, I do stand-up because I love doing it, and I kind of don't care whether you come along with me or not. I'm having a good time, but I think that's contagious. Just having fun is contagious. My name's Josh Blue. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I tour all over the world doing that. And yeah, that's all.
You can get more information on comedian Josh Blue at joshblue.com. He's currently touring outside of Colorado, but take a look for dates as to when he'll be back.
And this is a great example of the kind of storytelling coming out of our Creator Academy.
If you're interested in being part of our next cohort of Creator Academy interns, you can email creatoracademy@pbs12.org.
If you're a fan of Made with Love, PBS's award-winning, artisan-focused travel show, You enjoy tuning in to feel the passion behind every craft, from the hand shaping clay to the looms weaving fabric to the recipes passed down through generations.
Now, imagine stepping into that world yourself. That's what we're thrilled to invite you to experience, the Made with Love Italy Artisan Tour, a beautifully curated journey inside Italy's richest trades.
This isn't your typical tour to Italy either. You will have exclusive access to artisans and communities that most travelers never get to see.
Hidden in the heart of Italy, behind unmarked doors and tucked away studios, master artisans transform passion into timeless art. Now, step inside into their world and meet the most revered makers, designers, and chefs. This is not a tour. It's an invitation. Generations of knowledge passed down through touch, tradition, and time.
Antique design that probably now doesn't exist.
Here, you don't just watch, you become part of the craft. From the emerald hills of Umbria to the artistic heart of Florence, each step unveils a deeper connection. Savor the flavors. Connect, experience, and feel the passion. From the producers of the Emmy Award-winning show, Italy Made with Love, this is more than a journey. It's an experience of the senses.
It's so light.
A rare chance to live,
I like it.
create, and indulge alongside Italy's finest.
So amazing. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you will not want to miss. This isn't your usual trip to Italy. It's limited to just 20 people, making it truly an intimate experience with exclusive access to artisans and Italian culture.
But you should know there are only a few spots left, so you do want to book now. Go to PBS12.org and click on Italy Made with Love to reserve your spot. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Studio 12. And don't forget, you can also check us out on YouTube and on social media. I'm Bazi Kanani.
And I'm Ryan Harrer. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
you.